If you think that the gore and violence of Khuda Hafiz 2 was here, if you think the absolute bloodshed and carnage of Animal was here, if you think that the bone cracking, neck breaking, ligament tearing, eyes extracting of Kill was here, then Marco takes it up to a notch so much that I, who loves R rated action, had to look away several times in this movie. A film that is not meant for the faint hearted at all. Marco is something that has caught my eye ever since the marketing snippets were put out there. But what comes with movies that look slick and promise an absolutely wild ride and an unapologetic addition to the R rated action genre is that they mostly miss the spot. So, as all of you, as brothers and sisters, tell me as an avid moviegoer, is jammy, keep your expectations to a minimum because the director, Hanif Adeni, has directed some mediocre stuff. Unni Mukundan's filmography also is a hit and a miss. So while I did tweet that Marco might be a dark horse of 2024, a huge Malayalam fan base told me to not expect much. But this just exceeded all my expectations. Not for its storyline, but its sheer audacity and conviction. You remember me talking about investing audiences? That nothing goes further than when a viewer can acknowledge that the filmmaker does not give a if you think he is going to go to a particular place in this film, Hanif Adeni with Marco doubles down and surprises you with each kill. Let's be very clear. The most engaging and absolutely insane R-rated movies have a paper-thin storyline. John Wick is a journey of absolute carnage caused by the murder of a dog that was dear to the protagonist. Kill is simply a switch of carnage in a train caused by the murder of a loved one. Raid is literally the form of a video game with the final round being on top of a building. A lot of these movies intend to engage you technically. A feast for the eyes specifically for audiences that acknowledges its basic screenplay but knows it's seated for the technical prowess in its carnage caused by the leading hero. The movie is about the existence of families of influence, mainly in the trade of gold, and a murder of an individual within that family, only for our leading hero to discover that the rats exist within their trusted circles. Marco, played by Unni Mukundan, is the ride-or-die, monosyllabic, cigar-smoking hero who will do everything to avenge the murder of his brother. One thing I have to get out right from the bat is that the film is extremely information dense through its initial minutes. You almost sit through several conversations among the families of who could possibly be the murderer, why they could be targeted, and this made me slightly impatient, wondering that this is the gore and violence that the Malayalam audience was telling me about, because nothing really is happening other than possible targets being formulated. This might be an unpopular opinion, but Ravi Basroor's background music has not sounded better since KGF Chapter 2. He's done a phenomenal job in Marco. He is literally one of the standout qualities of this film, making his presence felt in almost every sequence and almost taking you through a trippy techno concert of pure mania in several of the nail-biting and exhilarating action sequences. You know the film is going to be an insane ride when the leading man announces on the funeral that he is going to kill everyone who comes in his way. I think the core of Marco's madness became solidified for me when he contests being stopped by a family member, only to reply and say that whoever did this did not even give me the opportunity to kiss my brother goodbye. They snatched that away from me, and I will make their life miserable for taking that away from me. I swear there are two types of movies that you will see from a stylistic perspective. One that is pretentious cool. Okay, you see these gaudy costumes and colors in films and wonder that this is the most tacky name brand idea of styling. And then you have genuinely cool, classy style, and Marco is inundated with absolute class in every frame. Just the styling of Marco, with a high neck shirt, a slick coat, mostly greys, browns and blacks, the cigar almost being a consistent feature, only Defenders, Range Rovers and G-Wagons in every frame. It's when the makers know the assignment, and cinematographer Chandu Selvaraj deserves all the praise for this movie, for it made me giddy, excited that finally I am seeing sequences that flow, that is not packed with heavy jump cuts and editing and actually does justice to be considered. as a film strictly meant for adults. There is an ultimate reveal in the film that makes Marco laser focused on his target, transitioning to the interval block, where all hell breaks loose. I can't tell you how I was clapping and cheering as Unni Mukundan left no stone unturned in not only killing but absolutely cutting open his enemies, seeking for answers from his friend whether he is enraged about their loss, only to come back for more. And I wondered, this is where the movie has reached its cruise control mode. I had posted that, damn, this was the movie that I had signed up for in real time, only for the Malayalam subscriber base to tell me, bro, you haven't seen anything. This is where the film is going to go in overdrive mode in the second half, and you won't be ready. And oh boy, were they absolutely right. Marco essentially takes the shape of becoming a boogeyman, a shadow that just sends chills down your spine, a figure that your parents warn you of if you don't sleep on time. And this is beautifully represented in the editing pattern of the film, executed with perfection by Shamir Mohammed, who just knows how to edit the pattern of the set pieces with the score and allowing you just enough time to make the final kill worth every penny spent to watch this on the big screen. There is a sequence where Marco reaches a lodge and is surrounded by goons, and it literally transforms into becoming the Corridor Old Boy sequence but on steroids. It's absolutely insane what they pulled off as Marco goes up the stairs and combines not only hand-to-hand combat but improvising with everything that surrounds him, making it hands down one of the most intense and insane action set pieces I've seen in Indian cinema. I'm not exaggerating. It literally just made me be on the edge of my seat, and just when you thought it was over, another floor adds, more madness starts, another door has to be broken into, and Marco carries on moving forward with each kill being so worth it. I think if I were to talk about my complaints, I can only really say that I felt some of the English dialogue delivery was rather awkward, as it mostly integrated it into the storyline when really hits the fan, and just the manner in which it is delivered, it made it sound unintentionally funny. This is especially true for Jagdish playing the role of Tony, who sometimes says the most not safe for work stuff that made me really chuckle. There is also a clear influence in the film when you can see the Korean cinema references or something like the frames which are reminiscent of John Wick, but it isn't jarring to the point of being a mere imitation. There is a home invasion or ambush scene in this film. Whew, oh my god. It is so disturbing, so vile, so sickening that it almost makes you ask, is it really necessary? Even from a script point of view. This is where I really want to pose the question to you. What is the thin line between gore, action and violence actually catering to the storyline, and when the same thing can easily transition to become torture, where you start wondering whether this is just becoming a kink for the filmmaker versus actually being necessary for the storytelling. In some moments of the film, I did feel sick, thinking that kids or women are being utilized as mere tools for violence and torture, and it made me have conflicting feelings. We have spoken multiple times about how acts of abuse can oftentimes just be meant for the cheap thrills of the audience. I wonder whether this holds true for something like gore and violence too, where it taps into our most sick fantasies and in some ways can be problematic because, trust me, you are not ready for the kind of violence you'll see. You remember playing Mortal Kombat and the pure insanity you will see the characters doing? Yup, Marco will go there and beyond, and you'll wonder what the hell? I did not think that Indian filmmakers can go so far. Marco literally shows no mercy in this film, and even though I felt the climax action set piece could have been choreographed better, I loved that Marco as a character finally got a worthy opponent in the form of Kabir Dohan Singh playing the role of Cyrus, who, by the way, is absolutely crazy. I must say this on a side note as well. The mere physical structure of a leading man goes so far in making action convincing. I remember seeing Unni Mukundan in, I think, Brahmam, and he was a big guy, almost looking like a powerlifter, and he has become extremely lean in this film. And I want to tell you, from being on a camera perspective, from my limited experience, action and dance, these are two forms, essentially because they're both choreographies, They have a far more convincing aesthetic when the leading men are lean. It's one of the reasons why Talapati Vijay or Shah Rukh Khan in action set pieces, even at this age, still look convincing. It's one of the main reasons why Laksh in Kill or Tiger in Vidyut look so good, because while they might be absolutely jacked, they are still not so big, but they can't be agile and nimble. Unni Mukundan is the perfect frame for the killer on the loose, and his movement and pure agility makes the gore and violence convincing, versus a couch potato just flailing his arms and it being termed as action. You need to get your hands dirty. You need to be invested in making us believe this guy really went beast mode for this film. It's just the effort. People see it, they will celebrate it. So clear in what has become a successful run at the box office for this film. But you have been warned. This is not meant for the faint-hearted. It's some of the most brutal action I've ever seen. It's the most violent Indian film I have actually seen. I am not exaggerating. It will make you actually question the morality of being subject to such violence. Am I even the same person after watching Marco? I mean, this genuinely put such a smile on my face. Not the right thing to do for those who have watched the film. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Marco. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.